Hello Libra, and welcome to your mid-month tarot update video for the month of April. We're going to go ahead and jump right into a little check-in to see what the energy is going to be looking like for the rest of the month for you here. Any advice you might need to know, what might be coming through for you. But as always, please take what resonates and leave the rest. And if anything does happen to resonate, you'll have to let me know in the comments down below. As always, I do love hearing from you guys. I'm going to go ahead and give this a real good shuffle. That was the Eight of Wands and whoa, the King of Cups and Chariot coming out. So what is it? We're making a lot of fast movement, fast-paced forward movement, almost like charging ahead. You've kind of got really clear-headed about how you feel emotionally, what you want, what you desire, and how your emotions power you, which is a weird way for me to say it, but I feel like you really are letting your emotions power you and how you move forward and how you move through life and how you chase your goals right now. I want to say it feels like you're finally getting the hang of not letting your emotions control you, but also not having to control your emotions, kind of working with each other almost. The overall energy of the week, we have the Nine of Swords and we have the Hanged Man. You are overthinking something. There's sleepless nights, I was going to say scattered energy. It feels like you've had your hand forced here. You've been forced to see things from another perspective. You've had to have time out to, I want to say, think things through, see things from a different perspective, gain some understanding. Again, I feel like it is that uncomfortable feeling of like, I did not want to maybe know this or think about this or have to have these feelings keep me up at night, but that is the energy of like, whatever you've learned, whatever you've realized, whatever you've had your perspective or understanding changed on, it is something that is uncomfortable. It is something that is keeping you up, making you overthink. We will obviously be clarifying deeper, but your main challenge right now is the Knight of Pentacles and Justice. This is so interesting because I think this does really lead back into the overall energy right now of you're trying to grow things, you're trying to change things, and you are having fast movement, but I feel like you're also kind of, like I said, overthinking and worrying things. Maybe the clarity and that you're gaining, the perspective that you're gaining is that life is unfair for a lot of people, and a lot of people have unfair advantages, or maybe a lot of people have it easier than others. And I feel like with you kind of aligning with your goals, making progress towards your goals, this is something that's kind of coming into understanding that life is unfair and the opportunities that some people get are more fair than others, and it's kind of how you deal with that. Sometimes you're gonna have things handed to you, sometimes you're not. Sometimes it's gonna feel like life's fair and easy, and other times, feels like it's the struggle. And I think you're kind of trying to, I was gonna say grapple with that, kind of understand that, and kind of, it does change your perspective on life and things, and especially your past and how you've dealt with things before. Your advice is the Eight of Cups and the Four of Wands. I think this is it leads into the past thing of needing to understand that, yeah, maybe things in the past were unfair, unjust, but you can't change them, and you do have to walk away from them and understand that maybe they have offered you a way to know what you want in the future. They have offered you some form of stability. During the time, it could have been very rocky situations, but I feel like it's kind of shown you a better path that is more sustainable. It is more secure, and it feels like there is a lot more to be celebrated when you kind of step out of the past and more focusing on the future here. For your outcome, we have the Fool and we have the Five of Swords. Is new beginnings on the horizon for you? And I think the big thing for you is stepping out of your mind. Usually with the Five of Swords, I want to say it's all about competing and it's about competitiveness and fighting and but I feel like for you, this is all up in your mind. It's you fighting with yourself, fighting with past versions of yourself, fighting with present versions, future versions of yourself, fighting with what you want, what you don't want, fighting with what you think you want. It's all very much in your head, and I feel like it is stalling new starts for you. We also have the Eight of Swords on the bottom of the deck. It comes back into that overthinking. You're craving movement, you're craving change, but it feels like you're having these stop-start moments because you are stalling. You are having your energy drained by overthinking, worrying, anxiety, all of these things. You've already learned all the hard lessons, so it's about applying the knowledge that you've learned so far. So we're going to go ahead and clarify this fast movement, this Chariot energy. It feels really, really positive. Can I know a little bit? What is that? Know a little bit more about this. We have the Five of Pentacles. What is this energy for Libra, please, Spirit? Accepting help in a way, or being open to help. Page of Cups. I think that's the thing, is like you're coming to terms with your emotions for yourself, but maybe how you communicate your emotions or how you release your emotions, I feel like it is all very much internal. It's not it is still a learning curve for you of needing help discussing your emotions or dealing with your emotional world, but how do you go about asking that? And you also think that like talking about emotions is almost like ruminating and not letting go and staying stuck in that stagnant energy, but sometimes you have to talk through it and push through it and work through it and bring it up again to release it in some way. So can we clarify this Nine of Swords for Libra, please, Spirit? What is this? What are they overthinking? What is keeping them up? What is this energy, please, Spirit? Have the Empress and the Three of Swords. It is past wounds that you haven't healed, and I feel like you have to take some time. Again, it is that energy of, you feel like if you even begin to unravel these feelings and dive deeper into them, that they get bigger and that they don't heal. But that's not really the case, because you're kind of just ignoring them and letting them fester, whatever this is, whatever these anxieties and these worries are, when really you need to be nurturing and caring for yourself, giving yourself some love. I think that's where you need your perspective switched, honestly, is that like giving time and attention to your energies and your emotions does not make you weak. It does not make you, you know, just because you recognize that you're sad and you journal about how you feel sad, it does not make you sad all the time. It does not make you depressed. It does not, you know, you don't have to identify with these labels. You can just recognize, I feel this way sometimes, and you know, being around this energy makes me feel this way. Being around those people makes me feel this way. Recognizing that is sometimes all you need to do, and that is where you can find the best help for yourself. The Hanged Man. We have the Six of Pentacles. Clarify this Hanged Man, please, for me, Spirit. What is this Hanged Man for Libra? We have the Five of Cups. It's got to be this give and take. Again, I feel like when it comes to reaching out to people and trying to talk about your emotions, you feel like maybe a burden or a sad ass, or, you know, emotional, someone that hasn't got it all together. But like, you need to flip that perspective, because you're allowed to talk about things that go wrong or things that make you sad or are negative in your life, while appreciating also still the good and what you have. I think that maybe you're also viewing it of like, well, if I talk about what's going wrong, I'm going to manifest it. Or if I talk about what's going wrong, then I'm not appreciating what I have good. I have so much going on, you know. That is true. You might have a lot of good going on right now, Libra, but that does not mean that you're not allowed to feel these quote unquote negative emotions about things. The Knight of Pentacles for Libra. Can we clarify this, please, Spirit? We have the Four of Cups. You're not open to these opportunities. Yeah, you're not open to these opportunities because, again, you have these Eight of Swords and this Nine of Swords, this overthinking, this anxiety, and then you have the Knight of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck there. You want growth, you want change, but again, you are not. It's almost like you have a garden and you want to plant fresh, but you haven't worked the soil, you haven't cleared the soil, you haven't cleared the weeds in the garden to make space. You're just throwing seeds, and the seeds aren't growing because there's no space, there's no light, there's no love there for them. It's just weeds and rocks and dirt, and you need to clean it up and take some care for it, and get rid of the negative and the bad to make space for the good and make growth for the good. We have Justice. What is this feeling of justice for Libra? What is this main challenge for Libra right now? Please, Spirit, what is this Justice card for Libra? We have Temperance. I feel like it is a bit of an all or nothing mentality. If you even pay a little bit of attention to the negative, then you might as well have paid all the attention to it and you're not focusing on the good. And if you take some time out of work, then why did you even bother working at all? You could have spent all those hours working and you was resting. And I feel like you struggle with this all or nothing mentality. I want to make progress, so I have to try harder. I have to keep going. I have to breathe. There will be success in the breathing room as well. There is so much success in being gentle and being rested and taking care of yourself. And that is just as important as the hard work and the growth and the time and the energy that you put into things here. The Eight of Cups. What's this Eight of Cups for? So this was the advice. What we're walking away from was this Ace of Cups. The Nine of Wands. I feel like in the past, these boundaries on not talking about your emotions, not dealing with your emotions, not getting clear on your emotional world, I feel like for a long time that really did benefit you and it protected you and it served you well. But right now, when you want to have a community or open up to people, open up to yourself, it is what is letting you down here. Your advice is this Four of Wands. I feel like it's to maybe get in touch with communities, with people. Three of Pentacles, collaborations are great at this time important. So it is about friendship. Six of Swords, yeah, Six of Swords and Hermit, getting out of that Hermit energy and being able to talk to people and hang out with people. But again, you need to be letting those walls down. So you need to be in a good emotional space to be able to let people in and let those walls down. The Four is a new beginning here for you. Let's see, what is this new beginning for our lovely Libras coming in for the rest of the month? What is this? We have the Knight of Cups. This is the thing. You think you're going back to square one. You do. You think the Queen of Pentacles as well. When you get in touch with your emotions, it feels like, oh, I'm just a little kid again. I'm being emotional. I'm being a baby, blah, 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 all of these things. But really, you need to take care of those babyish emotions. You need to nurture them and be kind to them so that they can mature and that you can deal with them grown up. You know, if you've never dealt with your emotions since you were a little kid, your emotions are going to be that of a little kid, and they're going to feel difficult to deal with, and they're not going to be able to be dealt with like an adult because they're not adult emotions. They're young and they haven't been matured and grown. And that, I feel like, is where you will have a new beginning, is when you start to understand. Maybe that is your perspective switch, is when you understand that, you know, sometimes you do have to treat your emotions as if you were a child throwing a temper tantrum. 2-2-2 on the timer there. It's balance about it. Stern, you know, tough love, but also gentle love. The Five of Swords. What does this look like for my lovely Libras for their outcome? This Five of Swords. One more card for the Five of Swords for our lovely Libra watching this video. We have the Page of Pentacles and the Two of Pentacles. Again, this is really a lot about balance, making time and space for your big emotions. Your little emotions is very important right now. You're gonna burn yourself out eventually, so you do have to take that time for yourself, make time for yourself, and do those things that are fun and that teach you and keep you curious and entertained and encourage you to be inspired and have growth and all of these lovely things. This feels like such heavy reading for you, Libra, but I really do hope it resonated. If it did, as always, please let me know. If you'd like to book a private reading with me, those are linked in the description as always. And please like, subscribe, do all those YouTube things. And if you've watched this far, I truly appreciate you.